be able to find somewhere with better Wi-Fi. But
no, it seems fine now. We're live, actually, just gone live, and we're here for the Six Nations Round 1 preview, Thursday, 9 o'clock South African time. And we've got a first-time guest to talk Six Nations. There he is, the Admiral. Now, you might get a bit of a shock when you see him, because I certainly did. I expected someone a little close to my age, certainly not at my age. I knew he was a lot younger than me. But let's welcome him in there, the Admiral. Admiral, good to see you, man. Where exactly in the world are you speaking to us from?
Well, Harry, Brennan, good evening. I am speaking to you from Dublin. I'm not too far away from Lansdowne Road. Hopefully, all goes well for us there on the weekend. But no, delighted to be on. Thanks for having me. It's been a while in the making, but looking forward to Six Nations. It is the best annual tournament in the world. It's there's nothing like it, and hopefully we can find a couple of bets and some winners for you this weekend.
Excellent. Well, look forward to it. Of course, you and I have been talking on Twitter for quite a long time. You're on the Good for the Game forum as well. So a lot of the guys know you. And so they'll probably also be quite surprised to see that you're around the 20-year mark. They see you haven't been punting for that long, but the sort of the punts that you do and just corresponding you over all this time. That's why I expected you to be older. It's almost like you started punting when you were 6 years old there. But so we got a good bit to talk about. It does seem that our Wi-Fi, we were having trouble before, and it seems much better now. We've got Ryan Dobby joining us. He's watching on Twitter evening. Mark Dunphy coming in as well. Great to have you, Mark. Mark, of course, is in Ireland as well. Big Leinster supporter and the sponsor of this jersey. And Peter Paul also joining us as well. Right, let's get into the action then. Now, Admiral, I've seen a few posts of yours. Under 20 Six Nations. That's something you've got your eye on this weekend. I see there's a game tonight starting in about 40 minutes' time. What have you got for us in those three games? By the way, for South African viewers, I'm not 100% sure if it's televised, but I think it probably will be.
Yes, so the first game tonight, it's Ireland against England. England, the world champions, won the tournament in South Africa last year, and they have named they've named a really, really strong side. They've named some players you might know from the Premiership. Henry Pollock being the main one, who I think a lot of people thought might be even in the English squad, possibly even in the 23 for this weekend. They've got other top players as well who've been playing for Bath and Sale and Tupolatu, and Kaboku's been playing for Racing 92. And the Irish team, the Irish under 20s team has been really good the last couple of years. They've won Grand Slams and been to World Championship finals. This team is good, but it probably doesn't have the quality that the previous teams did. You might know, say, even Sam Prendergast, who was starting for Ireland, was on this team only 2 years ago. Gus McCarthy is in the squad, also in the team 2 years ago. This is a good team, but it's a team who have, between them, played no professional minutes and doesn't really have as much the hype as it did in the past. And so this game actually opened with Ireland favourites, which was, I think, a big mistake, and it's moved out to about -8 or 9. And I think even at that price,
9.5 I still play. FedEx.
Yeah, is it not? Yeah, 9. I think it is starting in about 40 minutes, but I would say if a small play in the minus would be the smart move there.
Right, excellent. And anything on the other? I'm assuming we've got 2 more games then in the under 20s this weekend. Maybe bring up the under 20s. It'll be easier. Oh no, they've only priced up on the one game. I've got Scotland, Italy here, -18 Scotland. Oh no, that's the actual Six Nations. Sorry, I'm losing it.
Yeah.
Is it? It's Scotland, Italy, -3.5 Scotland.
Yes, so this game actually opened last week, and it opened Scotland as 20-point favourites, which, if you've followed the under 20s in the last couple of years, was pretty confusing. Scotland have been by far the worst team. It's the main reason why Scotland have brought in a lot of foreign players to their national team. They just haven't produced a lot of young players in a long time. And Italy have been getting better and better. They've had some really good performances, some good results. They've beaten England, they've beaten Ireland. And I would have expected Italy to be favourites in this game. The -20 is long gone now, but I would still play either Italy plus or Italy on the board. I think if the sort of the form lines continue from previous tournaments, I would expect Italy to win that game.
Right, and I don't have any betting for you on. I've just opened the two South African sites. I don't have betting on what I assume is France against Wales or Wales against France in the under-20s. Have you got anything on the final game?
No, nothing for me there. It's France, as you'd expect, are very strong. I think they're minus 26 or minus 27, but no, nothing for me there.
Right. Well, let's before we get on to the Six Nations games themselves. Of course, this is an opportunity to get involved with some of the long-term Six Nations markets, and I've seen you posting both on X and on the forum some of your long-term fancies. Have you got anything? What I'll do is I'll open it here and just have a look at some of the local prices. But what do you fancy in terms of who's going to win the tournament and any value in the outright markets?
I think Ireland will win the tournament, but I don't think that's where the value is. I think it's in a couple other places, one of which being the Triple Crown, which is between Ireland, England, Scotland, and Wales. And to win the Triple Crown, it's like the Grand Slam. You have to win all 3 games, and if you don't, then there's no winner. And Ireland, I think, are around 2.5, around 6 to 4, around 3 to 2 at the moment. And for me, that's great value. And the way I'd work that out is, you can I've handicapped all the games for the Six Nations, all 15 games, and you can take the sort of the money lines from those handicaps and essentially put them into an ACA. I know that's not how it works yet, but that's what I done. That's what I did for this game. For this.
Triple Crown winners that just over 15 to 10 on this book.
So what I did for the Triple Crown was I took Ireland are -7 against England. I handicapped Ireland, Scotland as I think -8 for Ireland. It could be maybe -6, maybe -9, but it'll be around there. And I took Ireland, Wales to be about -15. I think Ireland will win that game comfortably enough. And if you put those into an ACA as Ireland went to win those 3 games, you get around evens, just slightly above evens, about 2.02. So I think for me that means I see it's 2.25 there, and a lot of bookies up here it's 2.5. I think that's great value.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll have to check. Yeah, sorry, this is I'm using net decibel here. So if I go, I'll just change this to decimal, and you'll. Okay, yeah, they got it. I see what you mean. It was net 2.25. Okay, got you. Sorry, I was getting all confused. So apologies for that. Yeah, so a little bit of value there, as you say, works out slightly over the ACA. Anything else on the long-term front?
There is. So if you don't fancy the Triple Crown, I think Ireland over 3.5 wins is also a good bet. They mightn't have that there. It's on some of the bookies now. That's maybe not all of them. You can get that about 8 to 10.
Oh, here we go. Ireland. Yeah. Okay, they price it slightly different here. They got the exact wins, but I'll get you. There will be a local bookmaker somewhere who'll have that one.
Yeah, and then 2 other ones which I think are strong fancies of mine. I think France to score the most points, I think is a strong bet. You can get around 2.5 for that as well.
Okay. I like that as well. I saw someone tipped it. I don't know if it was you. Someone put that up on the forum. Let me just
I think there's a couple of us here.
Yeah, I like that. I must admit, I like that one. Top point scoring motion here. Yeah, they're 22 to 10. Sorry, I must remember I've changed to the net decimal. Let me just go back. I normally like to use the net decimal. So it's 12 to 10. 1.2 to 1. Yeah, I like that one. I must admit, I think I'm gonna go have quite a go at that one. I think that France are going to run free in some of their games there. I must admit. And anything else then?
Yeah, the last one it's sort of an interesting one. I'm not sure they'll have it there. There's for us it's the red card lines for the tournament is 3.5, and if I think in the last 18 to 24 months, I think referees have tried to avoid giving red cards. They look for mitigation more than they did a while ago. But obviously what's changed now is there's a 20-minute red card now, which I would assume referees will be sort of they'll hand them out. They won't be sort of hesitant to hand them out as they would be a straight red card. So I can imagine, especially when World Rugby bring in a new law or a new directive, they often get the referees to really police that in the first couple of weeks. And this is the first time in the Six Nations there's been 20-minute red cards. So I think over 3.5 red cards is a good bet.
Yeah, and I must say I did find the market, but the pricing was a little bit tight for my liking. I think they were betting 7-10 a pair, so that's something. I'm sure there's other bookies out there who do have bigger price on that. I like that logic. I must admit, one year I got burnt. Also, there were some rule changes, and I went high on yellow cards, and it was one of the years where they had hardly any. But yeah, I like that. Over 3.5 red cards. I think that's actually a cracking bet if you can get a good price on that one. Anything else before we move on to the three matches themselves?
I've three more here that I think they wouldn't be as strong as the first ones I mentioned. There would be Wales over tries. That line is about 9.5.
Okay.
And we know this Welsh team isn't up to much, but they have even in the last year they have managed to score 2 tries against most of the teams, if not more. Like even against South Africa, they got 2. Australia, they were getting 2 and 3 in the times they played them. And I know that a lot have been said how bad they are. There is a lot of quality in that Welsh team still, and I think 2 tries a game is more than manageable for them.
Right.
And then the other 2 I have here, very boring, is Antoine Dupont to be player of the tournament. I mean, it is a sort of award given out on sort of media hype, and I think he's getting a lot of that at the moment, and especially if France win the tournament, you can. I think it'd be fair enough to say that's pretty likely to happen. You can get nearly 3-1 in some places for him, which I think is as good as a price you can get for a guy who's won the award 3 times already.
Yes. Now that sounds fair enough. Yeah, I can well see that, and the hype. I mean, I'm actually a massive fan of his. I think he's a great player, but yeah, there's tremendous hype around him. So I agree with you there. I think that looks like quite a solid pick. And what else?
And the last one is sort of contradicting what I've said already, but I think Ireland unders on points. I think that line is about 137.
Okay.
You know, I think if you look at the games in the autumn, I think despite ignoring the New Zealand game, we were able to win them, but I mean the attack was really poor. It's getting a little bit turgid, a little bit stale. I thought even last year in the Six Nations when we won, we weren't really firing like we were maybe 3 years ago before the World Cup. We have for Saturday he was playing a new 10, Sam Prendergast, he's a good player and he's got a lot of potential. But he is quite young and he is pretty inexperienced. So I think at 136 it works out at about 28 points a game, and I think we'll struggle to reach that.
Right, and I mean that also plays itself. We spoke earlier about France to get the most points in the tournament, and if you're going to oppose Ireland there, then definitely it makes that France look even more attractive to get the most points. So I like all of those. Particularly, I like that France to get the most points. That's probably going to be my biggest outright play. I'm struggling to look past France here, but obviously that France-Ireland game, I think it's in Dublin. I think it's next week. I mean, that's going to be an absolute belter of a game, and you'd expect the winner of that game to kick on and win it. Right. Well, Admiral, we've got 3 games to look forward to. Starting on Friday night, France up against Wales. Now, the first time I saw this handicap, it was highlighted on the forum by Southpaw last week sometime. I think beginning of last week. It was minus 23.5, and he just said, surely this line is going to move. And there was an immediate move to minus 26.5. And now I've noticed the teams are obviously been announced, and we'll bring those up now. I'm just on the good for the game preview here. The money's still coming for France. They're 28.5 points now.
Yeah, I'm not sure about in South Africa, but these lines opened in November for us, and this originally opened at minus 20. It might have even been minus 19.
Right.
So pretty much all the money is coming for France here, and I think it is getting a little bit long. This isn't a full French team. It nearly is, but they are missing some big players. They're missing Galficou, they're missing Olivon, they're missing Danty, and they're missing Thibaut Flamand. And the bench, we talk about how often how strong the French are with their depth. It isn't a brilliant French bench, apart from the front row, which is very strong. And this Welsh team, they aren't very good at all, but they will be incredibly determined, and they won't want to start off the tournament with a 40, 50 point loss. So I would, low confidence, but I would back the Welsh on the plus here. Would be probably my lowest confidence of these 3 games, but you can get, I think, even 28.5 now. I think 4 scores is too much for this Welsh team, even away in Paris.
Right, well, that'll make some of the boys on the minus nervous. Farid just coming on and pointing out, yes, we did have lines late last year. I must say I didn't look at them. But yeah, quite a lot of money. But I'm also starting to get the feeling that line is getting out of it. Just having a look, I was just having a look at the head-to-head here, just if I scan down and look at Wales in Paris, lost by 13 points last time, but they've got a pretty decent record in Paris. And certainly I can't see any game on that list there where they've taken such a big hiding. Admittedly, they're probably at their weakest point they've been for many a year. But I'm with you there. I think that the handicap is probably getting a little bit big now to back the French. What do you think of the points line there? Let me just have a look. I think that's also been edging up all week. There was 55.5 early in the week. I see 57.5 now. I'll quickly pull up conditions for tomorrow night. Looks not too windy. And what have we got here? We've got quite a bit of a reasonable amount of humidity, but fairly clear conditions. Doesn't look like we're going to get any rain. What do you think of the points there?
I think 57 will be a little bit big for me to go overs. I'm not sure what the Welsh points line would be, but I think that would be around. I think if you get under 12, if you can get 11.5, I think that would be a good play.
I think you might get about 4. I think you might get about 13. I'm just looking if I did it in my head quickly. Then I'm just quickly popping onto. Just PokerBet's quite easy to find it on their site. Let's have a look here. Wales total points. 14.5. Under 14.5. I think the cracking play.
Yeah, so I think the problem with that is
you can get your 2 tries and still arrive. Hey?
Yeah, and to be honest, I think the Welsh will probably not take the points. I think the main reason for that is they don't really have a good kicker at all. I mean, the 10 they're playing isn't a 10; he's a 12. He's only played, I think, 8 games or so in his career at out half. And there isn't, as far as I can see, there isn't a recognised goal kicker on the pitch. So I think they'll have to go for the tries, and I agree. I think 3 tries would be a bit of a step too far for this Welsh team.
Right, yeah, I must say I am eyeing out that under there. At the same time, thinking that they might be able to beat the handicap. So there's a reason I haven't put the good for the game preview up with a bet yet, because I'm so confused in this game, I must admit. Anything else? Any other markets? I mean, what are you as a punter? Are you a handicap punter, a total points punter? Are there any other of the more exotic markets that you enjoy?
No, for the games, I'm pretty much always handicap. If I was to bet points, I often bet team points. More than total points. I wouldn't really. I would say only maybe one out of every 20 bets to be total points for me. So mostly handicaps, but also a few team totals as well.
Excellent. Well, just to welcome Henrik Swart. I see him in the live chat there. The Undertaker, great to have you, Henrik, and hoping you're getting back into your punting to get back on the show sometime soon as well. So that's France up against Wales. You can see I'm a little bit undecided, but the Admirals twisting my arm there a little bit on the plus handicap, and I must admit, I'm looking at that Wales unders. Right, that moves us on to Saturday. We got Scotland up against Italy. You can tell us perhaps some of the early handicap movement. I've noticed this week that it's been fairly stable. There was minus 19.5 Scotland, and I have seen that edge in a little bit, and I'm leaning towards Italy on the plus here a little bit. And we've got a total points round of 53.5. So what are your views on that one?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think this opened even in the 20s. It could have been at some stage. which I'm not really sure how they've gotten that at all. I think it's coming down, as you said, to about 17 or 18, and even at that price, I think Italy are definitely the team to back here. Scotland. I mean, every year when it comes to January, we ask, "Is this Scotland's year?" It's definitely not going to be Scotland's year this year. Especially without, their best player, Sunil Tubaladu, is not playing. He's been, maybe the best player in the world for the last 6 months. He has been incredible.
Agreed.
So I would take the plus, but I think my favorite one here is actually the Scotland unders. You can get 35 or 36 points, which I think is what Italy, especially under the new coach Gonzalo Quesada, their defense has really tightened up. You saw against New Zealand. I think they only conceded 27 or 28 against New Zealand, which is unheard of for an Italian team. And Scotland, missing a couple of players. They're missing Scott Cummings as well. Their lock, who is a really, really underrated player. And they have great attacking players, Van der Merwe, Kinghorn, and Darcy Graham. I think this Italian team defense is too good now to be giving up 36 to a Scottish team. So under 36 we might play there.
Tell you what, Admiral, you're writing my previews here for me because I really like what you've highlighted there. I think that's a good one. I think Tuipulotu, he was such a big loss for the Scots. I was eyeing them out for a really good tournament. I still think they could do okay, but I agree with you. I don't think it's going to be their year. Let's just have a quick look at the weather. Certainly looks pretty decent on Saturday at Murrayfield. It's not too windy, pretty some cloud about, but not too bad on the humidity front. So I'd certainly say pretty good conditions there for that game. We've got a points line there of 53.5. Obviously, you're going Scotland unders, so you don't need to get involved in the total points line. But on the basis of that, probably unders in the game if you were going to have a bet in the main line.
Yeah, 100%. If I was to take total points, it would definitely be unders. Yeah.
Right. Farid is coming in and saying Italy on the plus for me with a Scottish team that struggles to accumulate big scores. Yeah, isn't it funny? Scotland's starting to loom as Italy's starting to loom as quite a nice bet. Although I do prefer Admiral's angle there of under 35.5 points. I think that's a cracking play. On that note, let me put this up. If you're not on the newsletter yet, by the way, last week wasn't a very good one for the newsletter. The week before was a very good one, but we certainly gave some back. But that, I think, will be out Friday morning because we've got all the information we need. I've been sending them out on Saturdays because of team selections, but I think we've got more than enough info. So if you're not on my newsletter, there is a link in the description box below, and you can join us there. And let's just see Darren. Now, Darren, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Darren held the record for the previous youngest guy to ever come on the show, Admiral. He came on the show, and I thought, you must be the youngest. But Darren, I think Admiral's got you by a couple of years. Darren says, can't play Test rugby without a 10, but still expect France to slow down in the final 20 with the inexperience on the bench. That, of course, in the opening game. Right, let's move on. Ireland against England. What a cracking game this is. Safe to say that, if either of these sides want to win the Six Nations, they really need to try and win this game. We got Ireland -7.5, -6.5, depending on where you shop. This line has been stable, and I'm guessing, but I would say that it probably hasn't moved that much since it opened. I've lost Admiral there for a sec. Admiral, can you hear me?
No, you're right. I think it might have been 8, but a point at most. It's moved.
I am batting to you, Admiral, there. I don't know if someone in the live chat can let us know if it's my side or if you guys are also battling to get in. We did have the odd Wi-Fi problem before the show. Admiral, can you hear me?
You're hearing me still?
There, you're back. Well, I don't know if the problem's your side or mine, but you're back. Perhaps you could just sum up again your thoughts on this game, on the England game. Sorry, others might have heard, but I missed it. I'm battling here, guys. I don't know if it's me. If someone in the chat could just let me know if it's.
I can hear you now, Brent. Yeah.
Oh, you can hear me. Okay, now carry on.
I can. Yeah.
Just sorry if you could just sum up your thoughts on that game again, because sorry I missed it. I couldn't pick you up there.
Good. Okay. All right. So yeah. So you were saying is this opened up 8.5?
Okay, so it's been pretty stable.
Yes. Yeah, so this is the game of the weekend, but it's such an important game for both these teams. They're both coming. This is obviously the game of the weekend, but it's a big game for both these teams because they're coming off and South Africa and they really should have won at least one of those games.
Admiral, sorry, but I don't know if it's my side or yours, but I'm not picking you up. But you're just the others might well be able to hear. You just give me a thumbs up when you're finished, and then.
And for Ireland,
okay.
A poor loss against New Zealand and two pretty poor performances against
Admiral. Sorry, I'm going to
Australia and Argentina. So whoever wins.
Admiral, sorry. I'm going to have to. Yeah, I think Admiral. It's kicked Admiral out here anyway. But thankfully, we got to the end of the show. Sorry about the technical issues there, guys. I wasn't sure if it was only my side, but yeah, I was battling to hear his audio there. But anyway, that's England up against Ireland. I must admit, I was leaning towards England in the early stages, but I'm looking at it now going, I don't know if they could take this Ireland side. I think Ireland are probably going to win this. We've got a total points line of 44.5. Just quickly popping onto the weather forecast. I think it's also, I think there's a bit of wind about, if I remember correctly. Let me just have a look at that. I think there was a bit of wind about. I actually think even at 44.5, this could be an unders play. I think this game is going to be a proper arm wrestle. Alternatively, I might be looking at unders on England's points, which will probably be around 16.5, 17.5. I see Admiral is coming back in. I'm going to bring him in, and hopefully we can finish the show. So let's have a look. He's coming in at the bottom now. I'm going to bring him in, but let's just quickly look at the weather while I'm doing that. And yeah, we've got quite high humidity levels. The wind is not as high as when I looked early in the week, and pretty clear as well. But I think this could be an unders play. Let me see if the Admiral's back with us. Admiral, can you hear us? He seems to be batting, guys. Well, anyway, unfortunately can't get Admiral's best bets, but hopefully we've got the gist of everything on the show that he was doing. Sometimes technology does it. What's quite interesting, I saw a comment here from Blake, actually. He was saying Admiral getting load shed. And it's actually amazing how many times that the overseas guests actually have had Wi-Fi problems, which is quite strange because we always associate that type of thing with South Africa, but quite a lot does. And Henrik is saying, yeah, great. Peter Paul says, great guest, and agree. We just got to, if we could just sort the Wi-Fi issues out. Blake is saying a Merley try score on debut. Guys, let me try one more time with Admiral. I see his box, if I could say, is down the bottom of the screen there. I'll see if I can bring him in, but I can't see his face and I can't hear him. Admiral, can you hear me? There he's back, I think. Admiral, can you hear me? Hold on, have I muted him? No, he's there. Admiral? Oh, well, anyway, guys, I'm going to call it a night. I can see him there. Admiral, can you hear me? Looks like technology has done us in, guys. But thanks very much to all the guys who joined us on the live chat. And yeah, thanks to the Admiral as well. I'm hoping to have a quick chat with him now, but it was great to have him on as a guest. Just a pity that technology got us towards the end. Peter Paul saying the guy in Switzerland had issues too. It's true. Come and live in South Africa. We got the best Wi-Fi in the world. Thanks, everyone.
I'm not sure anyone else.
Oh, there, he's back. He's back. Admiral, you're back.
Can hear me.
Yeah, I think we'll call it quits. Stay on the line. I'll try and chat to you afterwards, see if the line improves. But thanks, everyone, and we'll see you next week for the Handicap Rugby Chat That Matters.